So I homeschool my kids part-time. My kids do go to school. They go to a Montessori school. My daughter she's going to be still in preschool because she's 3.5. And my son is going into first grade. He just finished kindergarten. I really like Montessori. I really like the school that he's in because they allow the kids to go at their own pace. And so my son is only 5.5, but they're letting him go to first grade. So if he had gone to a public school, he would have had to go back to kindergarten. So we didn't want that. So that's why he is where he is. So I supplement their education. So I supplement their education at home. We do a lot of nights and weekends work. My daughter does not need much. She's in preschool, so we follow this book very well. It works perfectly. What your preschooler needs to know. I'm not sure if this is the newest edition of this book. And they have poetry, songs, stories. She really loves the stories. So I'll read her a story. They have discussion questions in the margins. So we'll be reading. We'll have a discussion about what we're reading. She loves this. This is her favorite thing to do. And then there's history. So we already finished the history part. Lots of discussion questions that she likes to talk about. I thought this was a little advanced for a 3.5-year-old, especially when we got into slavery. But she actually had some interesting commentary and insight, and yeah, so she actually liked it a lot. I was surprised. I didn't introduce this to my son. I did this book with my son when he was 3, and I skipped this part because I was not sure how he would take it. He's very sensitive. But he loved Abraham Lincoln, and he loved Dr. King. We just wasn't really sure how to bring up slavery to him. Then the science section's really great. They do a lot of introduction to habitats, mammals, humans, plants. It's a pretty long science section. We're maybe like a third of the way through the science. We just started. I think we finished animals last week, rainforest and ocean habitats, and I think today we're going to start the humans. And then, of course, they have art history, which I really love. And I think that's it for preschool. Pretty low-key. And then I got her the Brain Quest kindergarten workbook, and she really loves this. She really loves workbooks. My son hates workbooks. He's not a workbook guy, but she really likes this. She'll actually pick this up on her own, and she'll choose a page, and then she'll do it. She'll follow the instructions really well. She can usually figure out what the instructions are, or she'll ask me. I mean, it's like the same thing over and over again. It's either a maze or you got to color the right letter. So she's pretty smart. She'll figure this out, and then she'll trace the letters if she feels like it. But she really likes the puzzles. And these Brain Quest books, are usually about a year behind. So even though it says kindergarten, I think this book is more appropriate for a preschooler. What, sweetie? In a second, honey. Wait. Then for my son, this is what I use for my son. To learn to read, I got him the reading lesson. Teach your child to read in 20 easy lessons. We've been doing this for the last year. It starts out really easy. Open these for her. There you go, sweetie. So we started this about a year ago, and now we are on chapter 17, and he's almost done. And they say this should take us to about a 2nd grade reading level. He might be done with this. I'm not sure. He says he'd prefer to read books now with me. So we'll see. I don't know if we're going to finish the last 3 chapters. I tried to do this with Clara, but reading is a lot easier for her than it is for my son, so she gets kind of bored, and I don't want to burn her out on reading lessons if she is figuring things out on her own. And I don't want to spoil it for her. But he really likes the guidance. He needs it. So also by the same author as the reading lesson, I got Big Words for Little Kids, which I really like. Each chapter discusses a different, like the first, we haven't gotten too far through, I just bought this book. So for instance, the in prefix, and kind of goes through and discusses how to use it. And I really like this book. I'm not sure if my son likes it yet, but we'll see. I also got same authors, the verbal lesson, the verbal math lesson. And he does so much math at school. He's already doing multiplication, pretty complicated subtraction and addition, multi-digit. So I don't want to give him problems to do at home. I want to make sure that if there are any gaps in his math education, they get filled. Because I was doing, usually his dad does his homework with him and he has his own tips and tricks. And then when I started doing math with him on my own, I realized I do think he has some logical gaps when it comes to doing math, mental math. So I wanted to get him something where he wasn't doing writing, because he does so much of that at school, and he kind of burns out on it. So it was more like discussing math concepts, and it's hard, it's challenging, ages 5 to 7, and we'll see how that works out. He's a little, he doesn't like to work too hard. And then this is the current copy of this book. I love this book so much. I think we're going to go through the whole series. I had these back in the day when I was little. We had the whole set. I remember reading these during the summer to prepare for the next grade. I just think they're incredible. So we do this every week. We've skipped the literature section because my son, we read a lot. So we just skip right ahead to the history, because I don't know how much history he's getting in school, because it is a very play-based curriculum. So we just go through this. We did the Ice Age, Egypt. He just loved this. This was so much fun for him. More Egypt, Mesopotamia. As soon as we did Mesopotamia, he rushed to go play with his blocks to build all the structures we discussed. So he loved this. We read about Gilgamesh. I got him a book on Gilgamesh. And so we just finished this, and we're on to religions. So our next historical, we're gonna study religions, and I want to make sure he understands what our options are. As he hears a lot about God at school, and he has a lot of questions, and I don't think he understands the concept of religion. He just hears a lot about it. So we're not religious, but I want to make sure that he has a very well-rounded education in religion. So when he hears about religion, he can use his own critical thinking skills to understand what he's hearing and what it means. So that's religion. So then they have, I think after religion, they jump right ahead to Mayan civilizations, Christopher Columbus. It's actually a really long history section. So we still have quite a bit to go with the history section here, depending on how interested, like the ancient Egypt, he just breezes past. Art is pretty cool because they link the art to whatever. So when we did ancient Egypt, we did ancient Egyptian art. So that was really cool. We haven't got very far, but it's a very short section. So music we haven't really done. He takes piano lessons, and maybe we'll do that last. There's some songs. Math, I'm not really using this math section. We have our own. And then science. The science is really great. It's a more complicated version of what my daughter's doing in preschool. It just goes into a lot more detail. And then I supplement, so it's mostly so far we've done habitats and food chains on a more advanced level. We haven't got to the oceans and undersea life yet. We're still here. So to supplement this, they recommend a lot of different books. So I got some Cat in the Hat books on rainforests, mammals. I got a Magic School Bus on food chain, desert animals. This is really great. I love the True books. Magic School Bus Gets Eaten, Hops Home about habitats, deserts, rainforest, again about the food chain. This is Let's Read and Find Out Science book. We have a ton of these books, so I really love them. And then this is a really great Osborne history book that we sometimes use to supplement the history because they just have a lot more details. I'm not sure if we're ready for this book, but it's really great. It's like a comic book, like a history comic book. So then we have a supplemental book section here. I like to organize books with books of like books, so it looks nice and organized because it's almost like a little art exhibit here. Here are a bunch of, these are mostly thrift store books. Magic Science, these follow the episodes. A Magic School Bus, that follow the episodes. A bunch of Let's Read and Find Out books. We have a ton of these. Magic School Bus, my daughter loves these Magic School Bus books. This is her favorite book. We read this maybe 1,000 times. She just is obsessed with honeybees, which is great. And then we have some Dr. Seuss books that she can come and choose. She also really, really loves these Cat in the Hat learning library books. And we have almost all of them, and she just loves these. My son does not like these books, but he does like the Let's Read and Find Out Science books. So it is, each kid is different. Some more Dr. Seuss and other people of these looking books. And then we have a bunch of these Osborne See Inside books. My son used to be obsessed with these, so I just bought all of them. But then he kind of stopped reading them. He'll still pull them out, but they all have flaps. And we got Body, Castles, Sea, Climate, Art, Building, Cities, Atlas, Science, Space, another body one. And I'm hoping these are going to come back into fashion. They have not yet. Another series we love for both kids are these Smart Kids books by Purdy, I think that's his name. I could be wrong. Smart Kids. He did a lot of baby books, so we had a lot of his baby books. But Sharks and Reptiles, I just love these books. We also have the space one, but they don't like the space one very much. This is amazing. This is Children Just Like Me. I have the original from so long ago that I found at a thrift store. Such a great find. And then I have this one I bought for Christmas for them, and this is the updated version. So newer children, newer stories, and this is these I think when I was little. These are kids probably my age now. So we just love reading about children and what they're doing. And I think there was a boy named Nico in here. I don't remember. But I love this for studying different cultures. We have this book about time. We've never used it. I think I might actually get rid of it. I don't know. I can't get my kids to use it. This is a book that we've had for a very long time, Open House. I bought it at a thrift store and it got all torn up, so I bought a new one because we just loved it so much. And it's about different, can you just do it yourself? And then different buildings from different time periods, and you can go in and you can kind of see the family, what's going on, lift the flaps. My son was really, really into this. He hasn't really picked it up for a while, but it's pretty cool. Then we have some DK books that they don't really read. Maybe I'll get rid of these as well. It's kind of dusty here, so it's kind of good to go through these. I can see what we use and don't use. So that is our supplemental bookshelf. And then here is our big learning center. So up there, this is a really old piece of furniture that has been in our family for a very long time. So we were very lucky to get this. We not inherited, but we were the next owners of this, and we just absolutely love this, especially for a homeschooling area. So up here we have a microscope, really nice microscope that is being covered so it doesn't get dusty. This box is full of science experiments, tons of science experiments. Here we have just books on every side. We have horror, scary stuff here. Kids are not ready for scary books yet, so they're hiding. Poetry, different countries, different. I have a huge collection of these true books that I love. We have all the readers organized by level on. These are the more academic ones, and then the stories are down here, so the kids can reach them themselves. Up here are the harder ones. on all the different subjects that, and then, oh, here we have the Magic School Bus chapter books, Magic School Bus beginner readers. We have these are really great about American history, picture books. I love these getting to know books. They're so much fun. They're like comic books. Famous Children. Here we have Magic Treehouse field guides. These are just, I don't know why they're here. We're not reading the Chronicles of Narnia yet. Here are Nate the Great books, beginning chapter books, Magic Treehouse collection, Basher books. We're not really using these either. The Odyssey for Kids. This was a really cool find. These are really great. These are the Time Warp Trio. Really, really cute. We're not really reading them yet. We are reading the Tut Tut one, the Ancient Egypt one. Greek Heroes. This is by the same author. These Osborne books are by the same author as these Magic Treehouse books. So she wrote Tales from the Odyssey as well. And then Greek Heroes. And then I just love these horrible histories. And I find these at thrift stores and I just grab them up because otherwise I have to import them from London or England. And they're really super cute. And then here are a bunch of readers. These are all fun subjects, not really academic. And I recently discovered these. My son loves these. It's called We Both Read. And we did this one. And my son does not read very much on his own, but he loved doing this with me. This is an old library book, I guess. So Mommy reads a more complicated story, and then he reads an easier story, and then it just goes back and forth. And we take turns, we talk about it. Each page has several bolded words that he's going to have to make sure he remembers when it's his turn, because he's going to have to read those 2 words. So we have 4 of them. I'd love to get more, but I don't think they're in print anymore. But he really, this is the happiest he's ever been reading. So these we read together. And some other ones, we have a lot of these I Can Read books that we're not really reading yet. But we have a ton. My daughter loves to look at the princess ones. I don't know if she can read. I think she can. I think she doesn't know what she's doing. I don't think she really understands the concept of reading. She knows all her letters, but she'll just pick up books and leave for hours. So I don't know what she's doing. Then we have a bunch of other books that kind of fit here. I have tons of Shakespeare for kids we're not using yet. And then math and different, lots of math, different math books. So that's our library. And then this opens up, oops. This opens up and we keep a bunch of school supplies in here. There's different school supplies, pencils, crayons, glue sticks, rubber bands, rulers, what's in here? Scissors, markers, flashcards, things that we might need. And then in here, we have a bunch of random stuff. We have some Bob books. My daughter actually reads these really easily, so that's why I think she might be able to read. It's weird. It's weird having a child who struggles with reading and needs a lot of help, and a child who doesn't need any help and wants to do it all by herself. So still not sure how to help her, whether I even need to help her. Then we have a bunch of Russian stuff, so I try to teach him Russian sometimes. I'm not very good at it. I should do a better job. Brain Quest we don't use because he doesn't really like Brain Quest. My daughter loves Brain Quest, so we do use hers. Kindergarten. And then this is what she loves. And I think this is what, kindergarten or preschool, ages 4 to 5, preschool. These are a bunch of flashcards, and just, it's kind of a mess right now. I was trying to use these to teach her to read, and she figured them all out and was bored and ran away. So I think I'm just gonna read to her and make it fun and not try to teach her anything right now. She's too little. This is my daughter's drawer. She just is obsessed with these wipe clean books. She'll just spend hours doing these books, and then I have to spend hours cleaning them because she'll be like, "Mommy, you forgot to clean them. They're all dirty. I can't use them." So it all started with this one. That was the first one she got, and then she loves these so much, and she'll do them all. She just really likes handwriting. This is my son's. She's not really doing this. And then just some random toys that she doesn't really play with. So I put them in here. I'm not sure if I'm going to get rid of them. She knows her letters really well. I don't know if she needs those. I think the shapes one's pretty cool. So this is a really, really great toy. My son actually loves this and plays with this quite often. It's a spell time, and he chooses a card, and he's a tree, and he has to figure out the code to figure out what letters. What did you make for me? Thank you, sweetie. Thank you. Thank you. Go play. Don't make a mess. And so, yeah, you can do it. It's broken though. It's broken. Here, do you want to do this one? This one's fun. Here you go, sweetie pie. So yeah, so that one is really cool, and it kind of has a code that you have to figure out to do. We have the same thing for some time, but this one's kind of hard because it has multiplication. So he doesn't do it, and it's broken. So if you take it out not very carefully, the whole thing will kind of, so it's the same thing. It'll just fall out, and I have to clean it all up. So same thing. They have a code. They have to match up the numbers. But I love these. You have to buy them used, unfortunately. But it's totally such a great game. Then my son really, really loves mazes, sticker books, hidden pictures. Loves hidden pictures. So he has a bunch of that. So he'll do these sometimes. Here's another sticker book. Here's some more sticker books and activity books. I got him a highlights, picture finder book. We have some of these Melissa and Doug sticker books. I don't know. They're kind of messy. This is an old what your kindergartner needs to know, but I'm pretty sure I'm just going to buy her the most updated copy when she's done with the preschool book, because I want to make sure that Common Core standards are included in what we're doing. But this is, you know, in case I don't or can't afford it or something. And then, oh, this is kind of cool. I should give this to her to play with. Oh, and here are some drawing books. So I kind of do this with my son. I'll put this up on the whiteboard, and he'll follow me and draw the animal together. So he likes drawing. He just hates coloring. He doesn't like painting. He doesn't like anything to do with color, just drawing. So that's kind of our activity drawer. Fun activities. And what's this drawer? I don't. Oh, here are all our foreign languages. Okay, sweetheart. Okay, so she wants to play with this now. She really loves this as well. So we are learning Spanish. My daughter loves Spanish. She picked it up from one of her teachers at school when she was a baby, I guess daycare. And so we have a bunch of different Spanish resources. These are really great. I got these from Target about a month ago. They have them now. I love them. They're really great flashcards. So we'll go through them. We have a bunch of different books I got at thrift stores in Spanish, stuff that we had in English and we read a million times, and it's kind of fun to do it in Spanish now. Of course, we love Buenas Noches Luna, and these, oh, I love these books. These are the best. I have two of them. I have The Missing Cat and The Five Crayons, and we read this, and it's so much fun to read together because they have it in Spanish and in English. And so I'll read the Spanish. It's really simple. The pictures are great because they tell you exactly what you're reading, so the kid doesn't really know. The kid doesn't know the language, but they can follow along, kind of figure it out, and then we can decide what some of the words are. And then of course I love this book. I have this for French and Spanish. This is one of the most perfect Spanish resources ever. I think I had this when I was little, when I was learning French. But this is the best. This is the story of Teddy, and he goes about town, he goes to school, and he tells you all about him. And so much fun to read. This we have not started using. I think I might get rid of this. This is just a coloring book, which she does sometimes. This I was really excited about, but it does not get used that much. It's an Osborne. They choose a card, they insert the card, they press go, and then they just press the words and it tells you what the word is. Yeah, I don't know. This is the first 100 words in Spanish. I think I have this for every subject, every language I mean, and it's cute, and it's like a little family. Just need to open this. course, honey bear. Okay, so yeah, so this family kind of goes about their day. It's really simple, and we used this a lot when they were little. So I really like them to speak Spanish. They will be having Spanish at their new school. My kids start in a couple weeks. And then this is just a Spanish workbook that went with these cards at Target. It's actually really nice for $1. I really like this. It's like a Spanish, you know, we just read it. We don't really do the activities. It's just good. It's a good one. And this is something that we've always had since they were very little. And this is kind of their board book. And we would read this every day when they were little, kind of go through the words in Spanish. So I think Spanish is important, especially in California. And my daughter loves Spanish. So she loves Russian and she loves Spanish. So that is her language. My son loves Chinese. He has been learning Chinese since he was very little. I love Chinese. I've been teaching myself Chinese. And so that's his language. That's his favorite language. And I got flashcards. I found these at a thrift store. This is a really great resource. These are books. It comes with 36 books. And they just build on each other. I just think these are the best. It's a huge box. I forget. I think I paid $35, $40 on eBay for this. And I really, really love this set. I don't know if I can figure out how to open this with one hand, but inside is just books, tons of books. And there's CD, but we don't use the CD. We don't need to because it's really easy to read. And I have a good enough understanding of Chinese and pronunciation of Chinese that I don't really need the CDs. And then here are, oh, this is a CD that he got, and we must have listened to this a million times, so we have all the songs memorized, and we like to pull this out and sing along, or sing to each other. This is just some books I copied. This I made for him. He has the Little Pim Chinese DVDs, and I made this for him so he could follow along. And I actually included photographs of his own things, like that is his rug. That was his rug in his room. Those are his toys. That was his little toy car. That was his rattle. And when he was a baby, we did this. And then it was his bed, his crib that I just got pictures of. His blanket even. I found a photograph of his blanket. So I made this for him so he could follow along, and then we could review when we were not watching the DVD, because we did those DVDs almost every single day for a year. So this was kind of fun to do. I know, a little overboard, but I go overboard. This is, we aren't really using that. That was the same thing as the Spanish one. This dictionary isn't very user-friendly, but this is the same one that we had as the Spanish one, and it's really great. Same family, same story, just in Chinese. And then this is a workbook. This is okay, but he hates workbooks. If he liked workbooks, this would be really great, but I can't get him to do that. And then this is a really old Lift the Flaps in Chinese book that we've had forever, and he used to read this all the time. He was really into flaps when he was younger. Not so much anymore, but this is a great little book that got a lot of use. I'm not sure if my daughter is going to want to do Chinese, but I think Spanish and Russian are her languages. And then we do French because I also speak French. And so my daughter likes the idea of French. They both like the idea of French. Again, we have Bonsoir Lune, a bunch of different books. This is actually our favorite, Viens jouer avec moi, petite souris. So we read that one periodically. This we don't really use. This Zozo book is kind of annoying, so I'm not really crazy about it. This is Hooked on French, but when we get more serious about it, I need to start using these more often, but the kids haven't really been asking for French. We got the Teddy. Je parle français with Teddy. So that's the same as the Spanish book we had. So we have that for French, we have that for Spanish. I think they love the Teddy book more than French, so that's the only reason they would ask to do it. So that nobody asks for French, they ask to do Spanish, they ask to do Chinese, they ask to do Russian. So we don't really use this as often. But why not? If I speak the language, might as well try to teach them. And then this book they've had since they were babies, and we just read that book almost every single day when my daughter was little. And then these are some more little board books that I got at a thrift store that I used to read to her every single day. She really likes foreign languages. She just gets really excited. I think kids just love foreign languages. These are flashcards. So we have flashcards for every language. except for Russian. Russian's easiest for me, so I don't need as much help. I can just read to them and talk about, and that's the one I'm most fluent in. And then probably French, and then Chinese, and not at all in Spanish. Spanish, it's just, they love it so much, so I'll suffer through it for them and do my best. But our resources are really great, and I can always just pull up almost every single book and find a YouTube recording of someone reading it if I'm struggling, and kind of pick it up. So I can make it happen for them. So anyway, so that's our homeschool. Well, we don't homeschool 100%, but our homeschool supplemental education center. So I try to keep everything we're using or going to use here. And we have some of our little resources. These are president busts from a tube. These are tubes they have a ton of these at Michael's. But these ones I actually had to get online because these are special, little presidential tubes. My son really loves these. This is a model that cut the, oh no, ah! Anyway, they come out, so great. This is a skeletal model of the hand, model of the brain that I got from Toys R Us, and it was going out of business. This is a little skull because he broke the skeleton. Here are some seashells that I had as a child. These are actually my seashells. I love shells, I love rocks, I love homeschooling, I love teaching, I love learning all this stuff. Here is a music box. It's a, I love this story so much. Oh no, she's broken. Great. My kids must have pulled up. So we have a lot of little things around the house. And here's some space toys. I love space. And some figurines. This is a little bell. I actually got this at Disney World when I was little, I think 12 years old, at Epcot. And here it is, still using it, homeschool resource. And here are some landmark tubes. I think these ones you can find at Marshall's. And I just love them because they're so cute, and I have little flashcards and the kids can match them up. And so that's that. Okay, thank you for watching.